Okay. So now coming up, we have Elena Martinez, an commerce strategy consultant at Adobe, and Roberto Rubino, senior software and developer engineer at Adobe, with the talk "How to Debug Common Site Issues with Self-Service." Please give a huge round of applause.
So thank you everybody to come along today. We are going to be talking to you about some common support case topics that we receive for Adobe Commerce on cloud. The goal of the presentation is to provide you with some top troubleshoot tips that can help you to resolve those issues. So it can be quicker to be able to identify and fix a problem prior requesting the support team assistance. It can also help you to speed up this resolution if you are able to provide your preliminary finding when you open a support case. At the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session, so you can ask more questions. My name is Roberto Rubino. I'm Senior Software Developer Engineer in Adobe. I joined Adobe in 2019, and since then I've been working with the EMEA Customer Engineer team as Support Tier 3 Engineer. Today with me, we also have Elena.
Thank you, Roberto. I'm Elena, Spanish-based in Sweden. I joined Adobe almost 2 years ago. I've been in professional services until a month ago that I joined Roberto's team in support, customer engineering as EMEA Support Manager.
Thank you, Elena. So before starting, let's go through some of the tools that we use in Adobe to investigate the issue. We mainly use New Relic. New Relic is a performance monitoring tool that allows you to deep dive into your transaction, can help you to observe the queries that are executed on the server, your external services, and can help you to monitor your site performance. In addition to this, we developed a custom dashboard called Observation for Adobe Commerce that is available for all our merchants through the New Relic under the apps view. What the dashboard does, the dashboard helps you to have detailed information about the different areas of your Adobe Commerce on cloud infrastructure, like MySQL, Redis, Indexer, Crons. So if in New Relic you are, let's say, observing a slow transaction that is happening at a specific time, you can go to the dashboard, filter by the exact same time, and try to understand what was going on at that specific time in terms of cron executed, indexer that have been triggered, or someone flushed the cache, or maybe a bot was hammering your website.
And we also have another tool developed internally by our developers, the SWAT, the Site-Wide Analysis Tool, which is available from the admin panel if you have Adobe Commerce Cloud. And if you have on-premise, you need to install something in the agent. It provides 24/7 real-time performance monitoring in the terms of reports and recommendations. We use it a lot, and we encourage it to use it because it empowers you as partners or merchants to improve, to be proactive, to have like a proactive attitude towards the health of your sites. So yeah, SWAT.
Thank you, Elena. Okay, so let's start. Problem 1, my site is slow. If we observe the architecture of a production environment, we can see all the different areas that the user goes through to reach to his content. So the first main point of contact is Fastly, that our content delivery network, which is used as a cache. Then the request will go down to the Elastic Load Balancer that send off the request to one of the nodes where we have the services like Nginx, PHP, we have Redis, we have Elasticsearch, and we have the Galera database cluster. What we figure out is that one of the main points that you should check when you start your investigation for an issue is probably the cache, so Fastly. So what is Fastly? Fastly is a content delivery network which is included in all the Adobe Commerce on cloud accounts. Fastly has a network of edge location that are caching location. The request is served and the request is hitting the edge location that is close to you. If the edge location doesn't have the content, we'll send all the requests all the way back to the Adobe Commerce origin. That of course has to build the content from scratch. So it has to contact the database, Redis, Elasticsearch, all the services are required. So of course this will take time, and of course it's not scalable, okay? The origin can't support load traffic. For this reason, when the request is coming back from the origin, is saved by Fastly. So if a second user or the same user is requesting the same content that is the same user is connected from New York, USA, we'll get the request served by the same edge location that in this case has the content saved. So of course the content will be sent quicker. You can check the status of your usage of the Fastly cache through the observation dashboard that I mentioned before, and we recommend a hit ratio of at least 90%, so you should keep an eye and stay on average on this. Let's talk about a very quick win that you can obtain with a simple configuration in Fastly. I'm talking about Fastly Origin Shield. If we go back to the previous example, we saw a user connected from New York is connecting to the edge location that is in New York. If the content is not there, is going through the origin, that then is serving the content is served back to the edge location in New York. But what happens if another user that maybe is in New York, UK, okay, that edge location that is in London doesn't have the same content, okay? So that edge location has to go all the way back to the origin and go through all the same story. With the origin shield configured, okay, we can have a global kind of cache that is the shield that is in front of your origin. So both edge locations, the one in New York, the one in London, can contact the shield to request the content instead of going all the way back to the origin. To check the status of the cache, specifically if you want to check if a page is cached or not, you can check the Xcache header, and we have the header highlighted in the slides. A hit means the content is in the cache, a miss means the content is not on the cache. We have two values, we have a hit, we have a miss. The first represents the status of the shield, the second represents the status of the edge. So if you are observing that your page is a miss, but you are actually expecting a hit, maybe it's a product page, what we recommend, very basic, very simple, but check if the Fastly cache module is enabled. Use Magento cache status CLI. We recommend to check the Fastly fallback TTL. We recommend to check with your developer if you are not using cacheable false block, because if you have this type of blocks, your page can't be cached. Keep in mind that secCookie headers make the page uncacheable, and keep in mind that GraphQL, post-GraphQL queries can't be cached.
Okay, problem 2, I'm seeing stale product information in my product lister pages and product detail pages. So most of the time, it will be a cache problem. But if it's not, when you have discarded that, then it's time to check your indexers. So here, what we recommend, there are two modes to have the indexers updated, and we always recommend to update on schedule, a background process. So Adobe Commerce, it has a very sophisticated architecture, and to store catalog data, product information, it does it in multiple tables. So when something changes in the catalog, all these tables need to be updated or also indexed, re-indexed. So when we use it as an update on schedule, it will be a background process and it won't be affecting your front end. If we go to the next one, so if you find one of the indexes is stuck, just rerun it. So here, we have on the admin panel the window, the index management, where you see all indexers, and there you can see the mode of each indexer. So that's where we recommend you to have the mode update on schedule. We don't recommend the update on safe. that happens on the fly, and it will affect the performance on the front end. We also know the trick. If you run that CLI command, you will get a bit more information than before. And for example, here, not sure you can see, but you can get the number of items in the backlog. So those are the IDs that need to be re-indexed. And small numbers may be okay, but if you see their high numbers, it may be a problem, that things are getting stacked. So you need to investigate. One more trick would be, if we move forward, to use the new relic logs. We use them a lot because it's a great way to see the health of your indexers, and especially useful when you have many nodes in a merchant, because it will congregate all the information, it will aggregate the information in one place, and you can query, for example here, the example indexer, to show all the indexer-related logs from all the nodes, so you don't have to go one by one. You can contract the timeline, and for example here, you see, you know the consistent peaks in the quantity of log data, and this growing up, it could indicate a problem, so that you need to investigate. And sometimes even your relic log will show you the SQL query that is causing a problem, so it's very useful.
Thank you, Elena. So let's move to problem 3. The cache is clear and the whole site slows down. So this is identified by a sudden drop of the hit ratio that we mentioned before and a subsequent increase in site response time. It can happen that the website actually goes completely down because database and server can't support the load. This can also be caused by bulk actions that are made on production, product import, bulk APIs. So what happens is that every time a content is changed, Adobe Commerce Origin has to send a message to Fastly and say, hey, the content has been changed, please invalidate it. So very quick suggestion, very basic suggestion is avoid to execute the flash of the entire cache on production during peak time, or avoid bulk operation during peak time. Another recommendation is to use the quick page purge functionality that is highlighted down in the corner in green. In this way, if you have to flash the content of a specific page or maybe a specific image, you can just go straight there and flash only that specific item. You don't need to invalidate the entire cache. Another suggestion is to configure the stale while revalidate configuration. This is another quick win. What that configuration does, when the TTL is reached, because we can set a high TTL 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, but at a certain point the content has to be invalidated. With this configuration on, the first user that will require the content after the TTL is expired will receive the old content from the cache. In the meantime, in the background, Adobe Commerce Origin will go to Fastly to regenerate the updated version of the content, okay? And then, of course, this content will be saved and then served after a few seconds to the second user or to the same user if he's going to view the same content. In this way, our user is not slowed down because it requested expired content.
Okay, we're getting there with problem 4. My site gets overloaded and even crashes when a marketing campaign is launched. So here we're talking, for example, on email and pay-per-click campaigns to drive traffic to your sites. It's, as you know, as an essential part of any e-commerce business. We recommend them to here so that the IT teams and the marketing teams talk to each other and plan these events together, because they can certainly cause issues, especially if the infrastructure is not upsized for a marketing campaign. So here we see an example of one of our customers. They launched an email campaign and a Facebook pay-per-click campaign at the same time in parallel. And the email campaign was going to be sent to millions of recipients. So if you see here, before the campaign was launched, the throughput was around 2,000 requests per minute. And when the campaign started, it shot up until almost 12,000. So that's when you start seeing problems, right? For example, the Apdex score on that time it decreases dramatically. So that's when you start seeing your site slowing down. And you can also see problems on the PHP side, the database is slowing down, and so on. So, okay, so here, what we recommend is to pay attention to the cache busting tracking parameters, those things that marketers love to track exactly who is clicking and going into your site and where it's coming from, because those are sometimes causing problems. Because firstly, we'll think it's a new request, so it won't use the cache. So you will be overloading and overloading with every single request. So what we recommend here is to, prior to the campaign, the IT team sits down with the marketing team and understand how they want to track this campaign, and then use these parameters into this side of the advanced configuration. Ignore URL parameters, you add them there, and then you will start using the cache. Okay, it comes with some default ones, but marketers, you know, they are very creative, so they will come up with things that are not here. So pay attention to that to make sure that we don't cause problems.
Thank you, Elena. So let's quickly see problem 5. So I want to know if there is a patch available to fix a problem that I have identified on Adobe Commerce core code. So let's say you find a bug in the code, okay? One option is you go to your developer and say, hey, can you fix this issue? But he's going to do something custom, okay, that then needs to be maintained in future releases. What you can do instead is connecting to your SWOT report that we mentioned before, connect to the patch tab where you can see all the quality patches that are available for your Adobe Commerce version. In this way, you maybe discover that the bug that you are observing is actually already fixed. Okay, so you can take the patch ID and install the patch using the quality patch tool. It's a command line tool that is available through EC Tools for Adobe Commerce on cloud merchants, but it can be used also by on-premises merchant. You can install the tool just through Composer.
So that's it. We are getting into the end of the presentation. Since we are support, we wanted to remind you that we can help you. I'm sure you know that with by default, with your license of Adobe Commerce, you get the support called Expert Support Plan. And we also wanted to highlight that we have other plans to support you more when you need it, when your merchants need it and have the budget for it. It's called the Ultimate Support Plan. And basically, not going to go through all the details, we can speak later, but basically it adds a personalized online chat, a designated technical account manager, a person that is familiar with your merchant, with their environment, support services management manager, prioritize outage management when problems start, and maybe what is the most interesting part is the proactive technical support. So to adopt that proactive attitude before problems start, right? So we help you with roadmap reviews, to plan your upgrades, your migrations, to prepare for releases, and so on. And that's it. So we had to trim a lot the recommendations and the tricks. We had more, but we had to fit into a small amount of time. So with the rest, and these ones, we are preparing a white paper that we can share with you. If you are interested, send us an email or connect us later, and we will be happy to share with you. And that's it. Thank you very much.